The first worksheet in our Chapter 9 exercise file is called Find, Search, Mid. Those are 3 different text functions. Excel has about 25 of these. Many of them allow us to work with data at the character level. Part numbers sometimes include characters within them that might have something to do with the size of the item, the price, the color, where it was made. In cell B2, we want to be using a function called Find. We're looking for those entries that have the letter G in them. The find function begins with what it is we're looking for, and when we're looking for text, we embed this within double quotes. So double quote G, double quote, comma. Where are we looking? We're looking in cell A2 for starters. In some cases, we're not always starting from the left-hand edge. In that case, we could put in a comma and put in a 3 if we want to start looking from the 3rd position rightward. But many times you'll simply be starting from the left-hand side. We're finished here. We can press enter. And we didn't find it here. There's no G over there. I'll copy these down the column. It looks like we did find a G here. We found it here too. But notice there is a G here, but it's lowercase. The find function is case sensitive. It's got a companion. If case sensitivity is not the issue here, if we want to find G uppercase, lowercase, we use the companion function here called search. And if we do use search, it has the same general structure. Whether this is uppercase or lowercase, we will be finding all of the G's here. I'll copy this down the column. And now we find G's in multiple locations. And by the way, the answers we get here indicate the position as to where we found this within the text. We found a G here in the 2nd position. And by the way, notice it's in the 4th position. Search and find don't tell us that there might be a second one. But we are seeing G in the 2nd position here. That's uppercase. Here it's lowercase. So the find function probably is used more widely, but again, there are those times where case sensitivity is critical. That's where we use the find function. If we don't care, we'll use search. Now, armed with that information, sometimes we can use this with other functions as well that allow us to extract data. And one of those is the mid function. What we're about to do in column D, though, could be done a little bit better with a relatively new feature in Excel called flash fill. A lot of people have started to use this feature for cleaning up data. And the way it works is, and sometimes it doesn't work quite the way we want it to, if I, for example, wanted to extract the city names here, I might type that first city, and I might even only capitalize the first letter. So I'll complete that and go to the feature called Flash Fill on the Data tab. Now, this is one way of using it. I'll simply click that button, and what happens? Excel does all the others for me, and there are no formulas in sight, and we're all set. Now, that's going to work beautifully a lot of the time. Let's try it with state names. I'm going to type CO right there, and then hit Flash Fill. And Excel is misinterpreted here. What has it done? It picks up the last 2 characters of the first city name there. Frisco, that's a CO. I was thinking state. How does Excel know what I'm thinking here? It picks up the ON from Kenton. That's the next entry. And you see what's happening here. In other words, what it's really doing is going to the 5th character and picking up all the data from there to the comma. So as good as flash fill is, and often it works, it didn't work here. So I'm going to press Control Z to undo that. If we can find the comma, and we certainly can, let's do that first, then we can pick up characters to the right of that to get the state name. Find, double quote, comma, double quote, comma, and where are we looking? We're looking in cell C2. We found that in the 7th position. The state name begins 2 characters later. So the function we'll be using now, using this data, remember that's a 7, will be the mid function. Think of the word middle, although not necessarily literally the middle. We want to pull data from the middle or somewhere from this cell C2, comma, starting where? We know where the comma is. We found it here. It's the number 7, plus 2. Now, in all cases, whether the comma is in the 5th, 7th, 10th position, 2 characters later is where we want to begin pulling out data. So we've indicated the starting point here by putting in plus 2, comma. And how many characters do we want to extract from here? In this case, only 2. And we do need to put in the right parentheses here. I'll press Control Enter. There we go. And double click. I've got some other empty cells down here. Of course, they don't count. We see how that's working. It's not uncommon to be using find and mid together. And of course, mid at certain points can be used by itself. So, two valuable functions here. And earlier we saw how to use search as well. That's when case sensitivity is not an issue. But these are valuable tools anytime you need to work with data at the character level in Excel.